We're going to answer some questions. Maybe some of you, want to know, am I on track for retirement? Will I outlive my money? That's a real popular question that many people that we meet with have. And is it too late to make some adjustments? So I want you to get your pens, your paper ready. Maybe you take screenshots. We're going to give you a lot of information in the next 30 to 35 minutes to hopefully help you make sure that you have more money than life, right? Because that's the biggest fear that a lot of people have, Pat, right? Is, hey, will I outlive my retirement? Did I save adequately? And if I remember correctly, that's one of the top, if not the top fears that they have, right, Pat?
Rob, Harvard Business School did a survey. It's been maybe 2-3 years ago now, and surveyed thousands of retirees across the country, just about their fears, about their concerns. Death was an option, Rob, and as a concern. And by and large, people still chose the fear of outliving their money as their number one fear in retirement. You think about relationships, marriages, family struggles. A lot of those things do circle back to finances, and it's an area why you and me we're really passionate about this area. In so many ways, can be a ministry, and so it's exciting what we have going and how we're able to help people. And appreciate you having me on today and talk a little bit about how we help.
Absolutely, and this is one of the most popular questions that we get here at Agape, because we meet with people in their Medicare, and then we've partnered with Impact and with Pat, because we want to make sure that we get these concerns addressed. And here's the cool thing, Pat, and I'm just going to let the cat out of the bag here in the very beginning. Part of our bonus to you, or free gift, if you will, is we want to offer you a comprehensive, complimentary retirement review. We're going to tell you how to do that at the very end. So once again, get your pens and paper ready. Screenshots, however you take notes. You'll definitely want to take notes over the next few minutes, because we're going to give you a lot of information.
Yeah. So, again, as you mentioned before, that big fear of running out of money in retirement, right? So, what causes this? Well, it's a variety of issues, variety of concerns, but we think that there's 6 important pieces to every great retirement plan. Every great plan, Rob, has to start with an income plan, right? You have all these working years where you have income coming in weekly or monthly, and now you get to the place where you got a lot of Saturdays and Sundays when it comes to retirement. So all these days of no work. So how do you replace that? Well, it starts with having a plan on how you or your spouse elect Social Security. If you have pension options available, how you elect those. But a big part is people have saved for retirement, Rob. And it's like, okay, how and when and where do you start pulling from when it comes to those investments? And so many folks do not have a written, detailed income plan. And if you don't have that, that's an area where, how can you have confidence truly in your plan, Rob, if you don't know exactly what that looks like? So having that income plan is the foundation piece in every great plan. I always give the analogy, Rob, it's a lot like a car, right? Well, what do we all want? We all have different vehicles, whether it's gas, electric, how big, small, etc. But at the end of the day, we want safety and we want predictability with that vehicle. That's what we all want, right? And when it comes to planning for income in retirement, it's the same thing. We want predictability, right? And there's some great tools, some great strategies that can be implemented along with that. But just like if my family was taking a road trip, I can have that car ready to go, oiled up, serviced, ready to launch out of the driveway. But unfortunately, just having a safe vehicle is not enough, right? To I need to know how I'm going to get there. In this day and age, we have cell phones that can help us navigate that path. And, the GPS systems now, as I was driving over here to St. Louis, everything from where construction zones are to, where speed traps are, all the different pieces that are out there now. When it comes to working with somebody in retirement, you want that retirement team to truly be your GPS to help you navigate those roadblocks. So that leads us to the next few here, which is having a market safe plan, having a proactive tax plan, having an asset protection or estate plan. So, when something happens to you, you're not leaving a mess for your spouse and not leaving a mess for your family. and then a care plan. And, the beauty of our group is I get a chance to work along great agents, just like you, Rob, who know Medicare and health insurance inside out and can put together that great care plan to make sure that we're keeping those costs as low as possible, but they have a sensational plan that covers all their needs. But there's those three little letters there, Rob, LTC, long-term care, the biggest and maybe the most overlooked threat when it comes to retirement, long-term care. And then, Rob, hit one more button there for me, buddy. I got a T on there. There it is. So many folks have those first five, the I, the M, the P, the A, the C. But one of the things that often gets overlooked, and it's behind that financial curtain, is a lot of fees and investment cost. And so it is imperative that folks have transparency, that they know what those fees and costs look like, and that they're using low investment fee platforms to make sure they're keeping those costs as low as possible. But in effect, those are 6 essentials. And when people have all of those things grouped together, a phenomenal plan, really, really just truly no worries, and can be completely confident on where they're going.
Yeah. And what's interesting to me is that, so many people don't understand about the fees, right? Because a lot of them have the 401, K, or, maybe some type of plan with work, and they don't realize that there's even fees involved in that. Because as you and I have worked together with several of our clients, it's interesting that a lot of them just don't know what kind of fees they're really paying, or I call it getting feed to death. They just don't understand how those fees can arise, because they've never taken a moment to look at it.
Yeah, and not that everybody is a business owner mindset, but when it comes to your retirement, there is a little bit of that you truly want to run your retirement like a business. And how do you most effectively run your business, or how do you most effectively run your house? It's knowing where those expenses are, where are those blind spots, and why it matters even more in retirement, right? You and I are in our working years, right? So we're, hopefully, folks like us are putting money away in savings, and obviously it's important to keep fees low even during your working years, but it's even more important when you retire, because what do most people do when they're retired, Rob? Well, they're now living off of those dollars to help supplement Social Security and pension income. So they're withdrawing monies each and every month. Well, the visual is, okay, if I'm pulling money out of the front door each and every month, I can't afford those additional fees and costs that are going out the side door, the back door. It can truly drain somebody's retirement really fast. And to your point, there's just not great transparency in the financial industry. So, folks don't know what they're paying most times. It's buried in the statements, the internal fees and costs. They send you a 200-page prospectus maybe once a year. Well, people just toss that in the recycling bin or in the fireplace. So, and even if you do read it, you can't tell what it's saying. You got to have a doctorate in financial literacy to comprehend it.
Yeah, and I just want to take a moment to pause here. Wherever you're watching this from today, I can't stress this enough. We are going to offer you this comprehensive, complimentary retirement review to make sure that you have all of this in place and show you where you are currently at. So not only can we help you with your Medicare, but we can also point you in the right direction when it comes to retirement. I'm looking at the 4 retirement roadblocks here, and I know you've touched on some of them, so we won't go back through all of them. But can you go back through at least 2 of them? And one that really stands out to me is the market risk and long-term care, because I've heard you talk about, and of course, being in the insurance industry, I know how deadly that long-term care can be to someone's overall income plan.
Yeah. Both great threats here. So, when it comes to market risk, right, and it's always important to make sure you have a market risk plan. But here's what I'll share with you. I feel, and I've been doing this for a long time now, I am shocked, Rob, at the amount of people that I sit down with that don't have great understanding or clarity of what they have, or maybe more importantly, the type of risk that they have. Now, it's anybody's guess when we have the next market downturn, but it's not a matter of if. Economies grow and they contract. Well, the average baby boomer lost nearly 45% of their life savings in 2007 and 2008.
Wow.
And it happened just like that. I often ask people, is the stock market more like a hurricane or a tornado? Well, Rob, listen, hurricanes, we know sometimes a week or two in advance of where it's coming from and trajectory and maybe where it would landfall. We maybe not know how bad it is, but it gets a name. When was the last time you've seen a tornado get a name, right? Tornadoes can pop up like that. I believe the stock market is much more like a tornado. Certainly there's always people out there trying to guess when the next market downturn is going to get, but it is so imperative to make sure you have a plan. And if you are near or in retirement, you don't have those bounce back years anymore, right? If you were retiring in say 2025 and you had that devastation happen in 2008, you had a recovery time and you had the benefit of the greatest market run up that ever happened last decade that allowed you in position to retire. But people don't understand that they just may not be able to make it. So one of the things that we do, we call it a stress test, Rob, and it's a complimentary assessment that we do for folks. So if this is something that you're out there, you're nervous because of some of the economic conditions. There's obviously an election coming up that creates more uncertainty in the path forward. So we run a stress test, and Rob, what it'll do, it'll take people their current investments and reflect, okay, if we have that next 2008 right now, here's how much you would lose. And it is eye-opening just how devastating that can be. There's folks that we run that for that, are getting ready to retire in the next year or are currently retired. And sometimes it shows that their ability to lose 30 to 40% of their life savings. And they can't afford it. And what they haven't been educated on is, Rob, there's some great tools out there where people can safely park their money, get phenomenal growth, and be a great complement to an overall plan. One of the big areas I get questions on is annuities. Well, Rob, you know this and have seen it. There's a lot of bad annuities that are out there.
Yep.
But man, there's a lot of really good annuities out there that don't have the fees, that don't have the cost, that just allow a principal protected vehicle for people to grow their money. They can create income from it. So they got liquidity. So those can be some really good features for people to evaluate. And then you were asking about, go ahead, Rob. I want to make sure I answer your long-term care question.
No. Yeah, long-term care question. Definitely want to go there. Just wanted to interrupt real quickly because with long-term care, as you're talking about just the nationwide cost and how detrimental it can be to someone's retirement, will you also on the back end of your answer, because what I find a lot when I'm sitting down with people in Medicare and just stating facts here, a lot of them many of them, I should say, that I sit down with are not in a place health-wise to be able to get traditional long-term care. So on the back end of your answer, will you talk about some options within that stress test that we can offer to those type of people?
Yeah, on the long-term care side, Rob?
Yes.
Specifically? Yeah. Yeah, so from a long-term care, I think maybe a good place to start too is just back up, because a lot of people are very, very familiar with it because they've had loved ones and family members experience long-term care, but there's still a segment of the population that when they hear the words long-term care, they don't know maybe exactly what that is. But long-term care is nursing home, it's memory care, it's assisted living, it's home health care. It's a whole spectrum of types of care. And Medicare doesn't cover those costs. People's individual health insurance doesn't cover that cost. So if there's not a plan in place, people are put to having to privately pay. Well, folks are not aware, but the average monthly cost right now is $7,000 a month.
Wow.
$7,000 per month across the country. And I've seen folks who are paying well over $11,000, $12,000 per month, based off the skilled care that may be needed for that loved one. So, and not to overwhelm with statistics, but these are important to know here, is that there is a 70% chance that we will need some form of long-term care, with the average stay being nearly 36 months. Well, you start doing some easy math here, 36 months at today's cost of $7,000 per month. That's over a $250,000 price tag for one individual. And that's today's cost. And by the way, those costs have continued to go up. So, what are some options you ask? Well, there's still the traditional long-term care insurance. I'm not going to spend a lot of time on it, frankly, because I don't believe it's a very popular strategy. Yeah. There's very few options that exist there now. And the reason that a lot of folks don't like it as a plan is it's your use it or lose it type of strategies, right? Where if you pass away peacefully in your sleep, like we all want to do one day, the dollars that you paid or put into that plan, those premiums, those dollars are lost. They're kept by the insurance company. No different than our homeowners insurance or car insurance. We have those in place, but if nothing ever happens to our home, we don't get reimbursed for all the monies that we paid in. Well, the traditional long-term care insurance operates that same way. So really, that's not a tool that a lot of folks are even evaluating. There's some great tools that I love. I'll speak to two that I think are phenomenal. And I think a lot of times when I'm sitting with folks or our team are sitting with folks, one of the very first strategies that we look at, it's a hybrid life with long-term care benefits. Let me break that down, Rob. So think of a combination between part life insurance and part long-term care, which means this. Let's say we could all kind of think of your typical life insurance. You pay X amount of premiums, and it buys a death benefit. Now these are permanent lifetime policies, so there's not a term on these. So these are in place for the rest of life as long as you keep them in force. But how they work from a long-term care standpoint is that sizable death benefit. So let's say a couple funds a policy that's got $300,000 worth of death benefits. Well, that $300,000 of death benefits, they can tap into that to pay for home health care, assisted living, memory care, nursing, the whole wide range of care costs. And if they pass away peacefully in their sleep, that entire death benefit pays out tax-free. So if the death benefit is $300,000 or $400,000 that they purchase, and neither of them need it, $400,000 passes on to their beneficiaries. And Rob, this, death benefits are tax-free when they pass along. So it becomes a great tax planning tool as well. Not the primary purpose, but a great secondary benefit to that. Now, on the long-term care standpoint, that same $400,000 death benefit can be used for all those care. So let's say that the husband doesn't need care, but the wife uses, say, $200,000 of the $400,000. Yeah. The remaining $200,000 still passes along as a tax-free death benefit. So really like those life and long-term care policies. Now, because it is built under a life insurance type of chassis, there is health questions and qualifications. They don't make you run a 5K and do 2,000 push-ups in a row, but there are some health things that are worth evaluating. If you're out there listening, don't tune out to that. I'm telling you, I have been, even somebody who's been doing this, I've been impressed with folks who've been able to qualify for those plans. So don't dismiss it because maybe there's something that you think is maybe in your health history. I would, at the very least, get a hold of my man Rob here and let's evaluate what options may work. But often, Rob, plan A, if you will, the life and long-term care, maybe we can't qualify it for long-term care, or maybe financially that part doesn't make sense. There's annuity products out there that have long-term care benefits, and annuities often don't have any health questions associated with them.
Right.
So somebody who may not be able to qualify for that, we can look at the annuity option that also provides some great resources and tools to be able to pay for long-term care. But at the same time, it also allows some great ways to be able to, for folks to grow their money when it comes to retirement.
Yeah, and the reason I bring that up is because that is a very popular topic that comes up when I'm sitting down with people and helping them with their Medicare, because many of them have never thought about it. And like you said, the traditional method, in my opinion, is really outdated. And even with no health challenges in their mid-60s, those premiums are outrageous a lot of times. And it really puts a dent in their retirement plan. So to have other options, I really wanted to highlight that there are other options out there, especially for those that may have some medical challenges. So let's talk about this impact on track confidence score, right? This 0 to 99, because when we sit down with folks, you give them this confidence score. Can you explain what that means?
Yeah, so we do it two parts. One is we run a retirement confidence score based off of their current plan and what that looks like. And often, because people don't have a tax plan, maybe not an income plan, they're a long-term care, they're missing a lot of those pieces that score becomes low. So the score is on a scale of 0 to 99, 99 being the highest score that we can achieve. Money Guide Pro is the back-end system that we use for that. It's not just Pat just mythically says, hey, you look like a 90, right. 99. Yeah. But what we can then show through this is saying, okay, now that we have that income plan, now we have the market safe plan, now that we have a proactive tax strategy in place to make sure that Uncle Sam is getting the least amount of your money as possible. Now that we have that asset protection, we have the care plan, and we're keeping those fees and costs low. Rob, as you've seen this with the countless folks that we've been able to sit with, that retirement confidence score just shoots up. And if we can be able to take that, anything 75 or greater is what they call the comfort zone. Obviously, we want to be able to move that as high as possible. So what that confidence score says, Rob, is somebody, whether they say, I'm looking to retire in January of next year, or maybe they're even retired already, we can run an analysis. Okay, well, if you live to this age, can you successfully make it? And it really starts to illustrate, hey, where are those blind spots? What are those improvements that we can make to the overall plan to put them on the right track? And I'm amazed at how many folks have not gone to the detail of this, and maybe that's why we're it's a good problem, but calendars are filling up for our retirement team, and we're doing some great work and coming alongside of our agents and truly putting at ease a lot of these pain point areas that folks have, and giving them the peace of mind. Because when it comes to retirement, we all want to just focus on the things that we want to focus on, whether that's our church, whether that's grandkids, whether that's traveling, all those things that we're passionate about. The last thing you want is keeping you up late at night thinking about taxes and not having a plan, and are you going to outlive your money?
Yeah, and I think one of the biggest hurdles for this, Pat, is not many people that I know of, and correct me if I'm wrong, because you're the guru and all this stuff, but not many advisors are offering this comprehensive overview, right? This review and overview at no cost. And I think a lot of people that I run into, they think it's going to cost them thousands of dollars. And so it's what we all tend to do sometimes at different seasons in our life. We tend to kind of sweep that thing under the rug and hope that it's all out in the long run. So I think that's one of the biggest value adds that we bring to the table, is saying, hey, we want to help you get as high a confidence score as possible. We want to sit down with you, and we're not going to charge you some big advisor fee to do this, because we legitimately, as you said in the beginning, we see this as a ministry to help people to make sure that they are on track, right?
We do, and I'll speak to just a little bit of our process. So when we sit down with folks, Rob, that first meeting, often we just call it our discovery meeting, which is just the opportunity to do almost like we're doing now, just connect, get a chance to learn and listen more about their plan, where they are with regards to retirement, what are their worries, what are their concerns. We start to identify those various roadblocks, and then often what I'm doing is I'm leaving that first meeting and we're scheduling a second meeting. And then there becomes a lot of homework for me and my team as we're putting together that on-track retirement plan that does tackle all those key pieces again, the income, market safe, etc. And then we get back together in that second meeting, we're putting together all of those different pieces. And to your point, and you said it, and I want to make sure reiterate, there's no fee or cost for us to run the analysis. There's no fee or cost for us to present and put together the solutions. And if people want to implement, there's transparency. If they say, okay, well, we want to do this or that, often there's no fee or cost depending on what we're what we're implementing and what we're doing. If there is, people have great transparency in that. But we do offer, we're truly passionate, and you know this, Rob. Our purpose is to provide great education when it comes to these retirement complexities, but it's also providing a comprehensive platform to be able to put in place some of these great tools, some of these great strategies to help folks navigate these challenging times of retirement.
Yeah, and as we get ready to close today, a couple of things. And listen, all of you watching today, I pray you've gotten tons of value out of this. And for whatever reason, if we didn't answer a question in this particular webinar, then put some comments below and we'll make sure to reply for you and make sure you get those answers. Also, if you don't mind, hit the like button for us. Subscribe so that way you are notified every time we drop fresh content like this. And this just helps us help more people like you. Pat, I don't want to get off here today without at least showing this graph. I think this is a very, very powerful graph because, as you said kind of towards the beginning, is there is some bad annuities out there, and sometimes there's some myths or maybe a stigma that's been generated from false truths. And I really want you to talk to the power of what an annuity can do for someone's retirement with this graph.
Yeah, so this is, if you'll maybe just click through just a couple. So this is $100,000 investment going all the way back to 1998. So if you're, those are out there, if you want to take a screenshot or, I know there's a lot of numbers here. So let me walk you through what this means. So $100,000 going back to 1998. I won't bore you with the yellow line today. The blue line there is just a straight 4% fixed rate of return. Think of it like if you had a savings that made 4% each and every year, that's how that would have done. And then the red line is the actual S&P 500 index. So think of that as just the stock market. Of course, if you look in there in like the 2000, 2001, you had the dot-com bubble. 2007, 2008, you had the recession. And then you had that great market run. Then up at the top there, Rob, you see the V cut, 2022 and then 2023. And it won back a lot of those losses and got back to even. The green line, I think that this is just one of the best tools going and has been here for a few years. And I love this tool when it comes to retirement planning. But the green line is a fixed index annuity. So it's fixed in that it's protected, but it uses a stock market index, Rob, as a way to credit positive gains. So for example, let's say somebody puts $100,000, and I'm using that. You can be funded with less or more, just using that as an example. But let's say somebody puts $100,000 in one on January 1st. What will happen is the fixed index annuity is going to look at where that market index is, where that S&P 500 index is on January 1st, and then they're going to look at it again on January 1st of the following year. Well, let's say over that period of time, the market has declined. And it doesn't matter if it goes 10 or 20 or goes 40% backwards. Right. That person's $100,000, as you know, Ron, stays safe and protected. It can't fall backwards whatsoever. Same thing goes if a couple good years go by and that 100,000 grows to 120,000, and then the market takes that inevitable nosedive, 120,000 is now safe. So what you're seeing here on the green line is the fixed index annuity, right, where, again, it locks in its gains. That now becomes safe and protected. And so as you see, that same $100,000 investment in the fixed index annuity would have grown to almost $155,000 in 2007. And when that red line is going the opposite direction, notice, everyone, that green line just held its ground, right? It didn't go backwards that year. It had a year where it didn't go up, but it just stayed still. And then when the market rebounded again, notice the green line continued to work with it. Same thing, if you look at 2022, as I mentioned a moment ago, the big V cut that you see in that red line, notice the green line held its ground. And then as the market rebounded, so did the green line responded as well. In fact, over that period of time, you can see just how many years the green line is ahead of the red line. And so I think the fixed index annuity is just a sensational tool. It's got a lot of different ways and methods that it can be utilized. We are an independent retirement planning firm. And what that means, Rob, is we have nearly 70 carriers when it comes to these types of tools, which allows us to truly evaluate the best of the best strategies and customize this to that individual client's needs and goals.
No, I think that's a great point, is because I tell people on the Medicare side, I work with so many carriers that it allows me to keep my loyalty to the person I'm sitting down with, right? And it's nothing against the carriers we work with, because many of them are great companies. But if I'm just a captive advisor or agent who's working with one company, then really I'm trying to do a one size fits all thing and shove everybody into that particular company. And that 70 plus carriers that we work with, and along with you guys, I think is crucial when it comes to really giving the most unbiased, comprehensive, overview when it comes to the retirement.
Yeah, and there's some people that may have something like this in place, or that they may have put in place, 3 or 4 years ago. And you have seen this, Rob, where, interest rates and things were really low then, that we're able to improve those. So I can't tell you how many folks that I've sat down with over the last 12 months that were like, Pat, I have this annuity that we got into, and, the returns have struggled, but we still have surrender fees and penalties. Hey, listen, let's look at it, because there's some great things that we can be evaluating on bonuses and things that we can be able to effectively move people out of some of those old plans and put them into a much better situation with maybe better income, better growth potential, better safety. So just a lot of ways. So if you haven't had somebody reevaluate those things in the last year or so, it is certainly worth time. It is the best landscape of options out there now. And I'm truly proud of our team being able to be just have a massive toolbox of ways that we can be able to help folks.
Yeah. And as we close today, just want to reiterate what this impact roadmap looks like, right? This 4-part process. So Pat, they start the process. And if you're watching this today, wherever, on YouTube and one of our other platforms, there is a link somewhere on the screen or down in the video description where you can click on and set up a no cost, no obligation review for you, retirement review. And so they set the appointment, right? And then the first meeting that we get together with them, Pat, is you begin to really just kind of uncover their goals, what their needs are, their desires for retirement. And this is a time where you're just getting a lot of fact-finding information, correct? The very first time you sit down with someone?
It is. So some people are like, how organized, what all do I need to bring to that first appointment or that first conversation that we have? And truly just bring yourself. That initial conversation is truly just that. Now, there may be some homework of some items that we may need to review, but we can give those homework items to you after the first meeting. But truly that first meeting is just an opportunity to connect to your point, Rob, goals, concerns, what they're currently doing now. All of those things are things that we evaluate. So don't think you got to put all things in a shoebox and bring it to that first meeting. It's just an opportunity to be able to connect and learn a little bit more about you. And then often there are some things that we do need to analyze or evaluate. So we provide secure means and ways where folks can then provide, whether there's statements and things like that from their accounts. A lot of times those are needed between meeting 1 and meeting 2, because meeting 2 there is then truly putting together that on-track retirement plan. It's truly complimentary. There's no fee or cost to us, again, to put any of those things in place to provide you the solutions and the strategies. And then folks are left with, hey, listen, I want to implement these things. How do I implement these things? Our team would love the ability to be able to implement. And it's never a, hey, here's your plan and best of luck. I hope it works out great. Things change, tax rates change, market things change, long-term care, health, all those things change. So then it's equipping these families with the ongoing strategy sessions each and every year to make sure that they're truly staying on track when it comes to their retirement.
Yeah, well, here's the deal. All of this is at your fingertips if you're watching this today at no cost to you, right? It doesn't cost you anything. You're not obligated to do anything, to just sit down and don't just believe it's going to all work out, because Pat, you and I have seen that not happen at all, and to be very proactive in their retirement. And I love the fact that our promise to them is that we're going to eliminate the confusion, create a simple plan, and just really allow them to enjoy their retirement, right? It's the ultimate goal. If we take everything else out, they've worked hard for all of these years, and we want them to be able to enjoy their retirement. So let me stop sharing the screen here. Well, as we wrap up today, Pat, I want to say thank you for being so generous with your time and just providing tons of value to our audience. Before we sign off, is there anything else that you think, hey, maybe just want to sneak in here? And I'll just say this too, to all of you watching, even though Pat's a former teacher, he doesn't give a lot of homework in some of those sessions. Okay. I can
That's right.
Right.
No pop quizzes.
No pop quizzes. It's good homework. It's good. The kind of homework we like, right? But is there anything you want to just sneak in here before we get off today?
Yeah, well, again, Rob, first and foremost, just thanks for having me on. And for those who are out there listening, which I know is just a number of folks who are near or in retirement, I can't put myself in your shoes in terms of, the hard work, the sacrifices, and being away from family and all the years that gone, the hard work of going in to help put you in position to be able to retire and be able to save when it comes to retirement. But listen, if you're out there and protecting that hard work from things like taxes, from market risk, from investment fees, from long-term care, if those things are important to you, we would just love the opportunity to be able to sit down and have that free review and see if there's some areas where we can be able to help. At the very least, you're going to walk away from those conversations with us feeling confident about your future, feeling confident about maybe the plan you already have in place, or feeling very confident about the plan and the roadmap that we're going to be able to put you on. So love the opportunity. We got a great team, great people that, again, as I said at the onset with you, Rob, I know we are aligned in all things, faith and values. Sure. And how we love people. This truly becomes a ministry and an area where we can, love on people and be able to connect with people. And with our national footprint, it's great opportunity to be able to meet people truly from all walks of life, from all over the country.
Yeah. And I love what you said, because some of the greatest joy that I get out of doing what I do is to see, not only on the Medicare side, but on the retirement side, people just kind of go, I worked hard all these years, I'm prepared. And they just know that confidence score. You can see people light up when they get a higher confidence score, because a lot of them are just nervous. A lot of them are scared, inflation, taxes, long-term care, all these things that you briefly covered today. And to be able to bring that peace of mind, man, that just brings so much fulfillment to my soul personally. And I love partnering with you guys and making sure that the people that we work with have the opportunity to enjoy that peace of mind. So as we close today, once again, somewhere on the screen, whatever platform you're watching this on, maybe even down below in the video description, click on the link to schedule your appointment. It's not going to cost you anything. And I tell people, if it's not going to cost you anything at all, and you're under no obligation at all to do anything, why wouldn't you just take a few minutes of your time, sit down with an expert like Pat, a senior advisor like myself, just to make sure that you're prepared. Well, I pray you got tons of value out of today. God bless you guys, and we'll see you on the next episode.